Hello everyone. In this video, we will talk about average restaurant sales in US and why it's not that important. I am Maxim Spark, the founder of the Deglaze Profit program, and my mission is to help you turn your restaurant into a profit-generating system. Okay, let's start. So, the question is, what are average restaurant sales in United States? The short answer is, stats vary. What does it mean? Depending on different sources, I've researched a lot of different resources, that statistics differs. For instance, one of source says that 1.5 million was the average revenue of restaurant in 2022. Other source says that less than 1.5 or approximately 1.3 million is the average that new restaurant can have in the first year. Other source says that around $500,000 it's the average sales per restaurant. And why are they different? Because that all depends on the size and the type of a restaurant. If you are a single unit, that's one thing. If you have a network where you have a single accountant and other unified services, that's completely different story. If you are fast food, that differs from the restaurant if you are a casual dining restaurant, right? That all depends. But for instance, if we look at top independent casual dining restaurants, those are stats of sales per one restaurant. Joe's Stone Crab Restaurant, $45 million. The Boathouse, 43 million. 37, 32, 31 million of sales per year for a restaurant. Can you imagine that number? Now, average in top fast food restaurants annually. So if you're using one of the franchise, for instance, and you have an average restaurant, so you can expect in average 6.7 million for Chick-fil-A, then 3.6 for McDonald's, one restaurant. And of course, those numbers are different. But at the same time, you probably know that 10 to 15% of all the restaurants in US will go bankrupt and will close themselves just this year, just next year, just year after that. And this is what was in previous year, every single year. And the biggest reason is because they have small revenue and they don't have profit at all. This is the reason. So compare zero profit or let's say $100,000 annual income, annual revenue, and 45 million annual revenue. There's a difference. That's why statistics differs. So if you are a restaurant owner, you need an alternative metric to analyze your restaurant business. What do I mean by alternative? First of all, you can use profit margin. This is much better stats if you want to analyze how good or bad your business is, your restaurant is. So if you don't know the formula, here's the formula. And basically it says what percent of revenue or sales you can have at the end of the month after all the expenses. What percentage of total sales? And if we speak about profit margin, not about revenue, we have some good stats that will help you to compare yourself or your business to other restaurants. So in this slide, I'm speaking about casual dining restaurants because most likely you are the owner of such restaurant. So 3 to 5% is the industry average, which is confirmed by several different sources. 3 to 5% industry average. This is about profit margin. And this is the primary indicator that will help you to compare yourself to the industry, to other restaurants, and to understand how good or bad your business is. So 3 to 5% industry average. But it's still surviving mode. What it means that even if you have industry average, that doesn't mean that you are doing great. That means that you are suffering a bit. If you have less than 3%, or your business or business of your friends has less than 3%, you need to do something immediately, because that means that your business will not last long. But if you have 8% or more, it's a good profit margin. So basically, this is your goal if you want to measure the performance of your restaurant. 8 or more of profit margin. This is one indicator, but then the second good indicator, how can you tell are you doing good or not with your business? And it's a really interesting indicator. It says how good or bad are you in utilizing the space that you use for the restaurant. So basically, if you're able to put many tables, many seats, and have many customers, you're doing great. If you have huge amount of space, but you don't use it properly, and you have a lot of free space with no with no real money generating approaches, you're doing really bad. And this is the indicator that helps you to identify how good or bad your business is in terms of sales per square feet. If you have annually of a total space $200 or less, so basically what you do, you take revenue for the year and divide by total amount of square feet that your restaurant has, including kitchen, storage, and so on. So the whole space that you are renting. So if you have $200 or less per square feet per year, you are losing money, most likely. If you have from 200 to 300, you are breaking even. If you have 300 to 400, it is okay profit, it's more or less profit, and that means that most likely you have profit margin somewhere between 5 to 10% in case if you have good systems established. And if you have $400 or more, that means that you are doing really great in most of cases. Of course, there are different exceptions. For instance, your restaurant is in New York, right? In center of New York. You can't expect have even $300 and be profitable. Of course, you need to generate much more per square feet. Or if you have your own space that you don't pay nothing for it, I mean monthly based to the owner of the space because you are the owner. Of course, you can have smaller sales per square feet and still be profitable. But in general, if we speak about in average across the industry, so those are numbers that you can compare yourself to. To increase those two indicators, to affect them, to influence them somehow, you need to, in general, establish and follow standards. You might have already some standards like how you deal with your food that recently arrived, how you store it, how you process, how your team processes it, and so on. So establish and follow standards. The second thing, measure effectiveness. So you need to measure different processes to understand how good or bad they are at this exact moment. And once you identified some gaps, some issues, like this month, one of indicators is much worse than month ago, that's definitely there is some problem which you need to address and to fix that. And by doing that, by establishing and following standards, by measuring effectiveness and reacting on those indicators that you would measure, by fixing gaps, you get following things. You would have higher quality standards. That's for sure. That would be a byproduct of your activities. You will have higher quality standards. You will have bigger satisfaction and return rate of your customers. You will have lower costs and you will have bigger profit. So once you realize that you need to focus on profit margin and sales per square feet, this is what you should do and this is what you get. Of course, it sounds simple, but it's not that simple, that's for sure. That's why if you are interested how we can help you to improve your restaurant finances, please go to the description of this video, find the first link and click on that. You don't need to do that. I'm not forcing you to do that, but in case if you are interested, you can do that. Otherwise, I hope the video helps you to look differently into your business. I hope you like it. So if you are, please click like button, click subscribe button, write your comments, your feedback, especially if it helps you and you are leaving some comments. That video will be shown to other restaurant owners like you, and that might help them as well. And I wish you a good day. I wish you bigger profit with no stress, and we'll see you in the next video.